in the 3rd year of my marriage to Lu Zhuoyan. He found the forced departure of Bai Yueguang and wanted to elevate her as the leading lady. I tried to intervene, but on my birthday, Lu Zhuoyan was transferred overseas. On the day I died, I called him 10 times, but each call was disconnected. By the seaside, as the midnight chimes faded away, the solitary beach echoed with the ringtone of a cell phone. Mechanical rhythm, cold and abrupt. Drifting in midair, I watched as the words Yi Zhuoyan here on the screen were gradually submerged by the tide, carried away by sand and mud. I died on the last day of my 27th year. Throughout the night, I lit and extinguished candles, but couldn't wait for him to say a simple happy birthday. Before being swept away by the waves, the last trending topic I saw was Lu Zhuoyan, at a press conference, publicly supporting Lin Shu, who was embroiled in rumors. She was the white moonlight he had been yearning for, thinking of, and searching for over the past 10 years. As a spirit, I was compelled to return to the deepest bond of my lifetime, by Lu Zhuoyan's side. I wasn't sure when Lu Zhuoyan would realize my death, let alone whether he would hold a decent funeral to bid me farewell. In the darkness of the night, as I slipped into the car parked beneath the Lu's building, Lu Zhuoyan was embracing Lin Shu, who was sobbing softly. Don't worry, I promise you, I'll make sure no one ever mistreats you again. Lin Shu raised her chin, tears blurred her eyes, and her lips slowly approached Lu Zhuoyan's. Lu Zhuoyan hesitated for a moment before allowing Lin Shu's lips to touch his, then he gently ran his fingers through her hair, deepening the kiss. I clenched my fists in the back seat, bitterness etched on my face. Yes, was I still hoping that Lu Zhuoyan would adhere to his duties as a husband to me? Between him and Lin Shu, it was their affection that was unforgettable. In the dim and intimate car, passion and warmth surged. Just as Lin Shu reached for Lu Zhuoyan's tie, the car's intelligent fragrance system automatically activated, and the faint scent of gardenias extinguished the passion between them. Lu Zhuoyan cleared his throat and withdrew his arm, sitting up straight. Lin Shu hurriedly wiped her tears, masking her embarrassment. Don't be angry with Shen Yi. You're married, and she's also considering your and the company's interests. After all, my public image isn't good. Last week, when Lu Zhuoyan presented the tailored star-making plan for Lin Shu at the meeting, it was the first time in 3 years that I stood against him and voted against it. Lu's didn't involve the entertainment industry, and implementing this plan would require a significant investment of manpower and resources. But it happened to be at the time when Lu's was about to go public. The day after I vetoed the plan, rumors about Lin Shu appeared in major media headlines. Lu Zhuoyan believed that I was unwilling to cooperate and deliberately smeared Lin Shu, so he sent me to inspect overseas subsidiaries. Hearing Lin Shu mention my name at this moment, his anger had not subsided, and he couldn't help but snort coldly. She married Lu's, and many times, even I have to take a back seat. The sound of the car starting was like a wooden mallet pounding into my chest, a dull pain that wouldn't subside. I used to think that after 3 years of companionship, even if it was just for a day, an hour, or a moment, he had at least been sincere to me. But was it true? Lu Zhuoyan had long removed his wedding ring, and there wasn't even a trace of a faded mark on his empty ring finger. Lin Shu didn't say anything more, looking very obedient. The car started and drove away, leaving me in the cold wind, engulfed by pain. Lu Zhuoyan, I'm dead now. Now you're free. I was chosen as Lu Zhuoyan's daughter-in-law by his mother herself. On our wedding day, the teacher made me swear to dedicate everything to the Lu family. Over the years, Lu's went from the brink of bankruptcy to nearing its IPO under my leadership. I devoted all my efforts to fulfilling my promise to the teacher, but I neglected many of my duties as a wife. Falling in love with Lu Zhuoyan was my fatal mistake. I thought we had plenty of time to make amends between us. But I never imagined that when the white moonlight, who only existed in Lu Zhuoyan's memories, appeared, he would suddenly become unreachable. After Lu Zhuoyan drove the car into the underground garage, the attendant came to the car and greeted us warmly. Good evening, Mr. Lu, Miss Lin. I remember when we first moved in, the attendant only called Lu Zhuoyan. Lu Zhuoyan was dissatisfied with me being ignored and complained bitterly. After that, the attendant always included me as Mrs. Lu. And now, he was already familiar with calling Lin Shu. Lin Shu temporarily resided in the guest bedroom, which had been redecorated according to her preferences, making her seem like the mistress of the house. I searched the house and finally found Gray locked on the balcony because Lin Shu was allergic to cat fur. Gray used to sleep by my pillow every day. It wasn't used to the cold and hard balcony and kept scratching the glass door with its claws, but it couldn't soften Lu Zhuoyan's heart. But, yes, since he didn't like me, how could he like my cat? I was powerless in this situation, so I could only squat beside Gray, feeling sorry for it. Unexpectedly, Gray stopped making noise. It seemed to sense something and purred at me. Just after midnight, the door of the guest bedroom opened, and Lin Shu, wearing my silk pajamas, slipped into the master bedroom, leaving a trail of fruit fragrance wherever she went. That was my favorite body lotion, which was originally placed in the master bedroom. Lin Shu had taken a shower and was about to leave when I remembered that there was a complete set of toiletries in the guest bathroom, just with a different scent from what I used. Soon, I knew Lin Shu's intentions. She lifted the covers and lay carefully beside Lu Zhuoyan, placing her hand on his shoulder. Lu Zhuoyan, in his sleep, felt the touch on his body, turned over, and tightly embraced Lin Shu's waist. His hand touched the smooth silk, and his nose caught the familiar fruit scent. Chui. He didn't even open his eyes. The physical memories of intimacy over the past few years made his hand move. Lin Shu knew that my trip abroad was only temporary. When I returned, neither Lu's nor Lu Zhuoyan would be hers to touch. At this moment, she must be anxious and wanted to play the role of me to secure her position. But she was not me after all. From the figure to the kiss, from the hair to the temperature, Lu Zhuoyan gradually frowned and opened his eyes in the darkness. He noticed something was amiss, but didn't push Lin Shu away. I knew I should leave immediately, but I couldn't move. I could only keep my eyes open, watching Lu Zhuoyan trample on our marriage, remembering his betrayal and hurt. Drip. I was afraid of the heat, so I always kept the temperature on, and this autumn was warmer than usual. The sound of the air conditioning automatically turning on lifted the veil on the intimacy of the two on the bed. After Lu Zhuoyan woke up, he apologized and walked into the guest bathroom, taking out a cigarette and lighter from the deepest part of the bathroom cabinet. Lu Zhuoyan grew up in a strict family, and the teacher disciplined him a lot. I thought he didn't smoke. But watching Lu Zhuoyan skillfully exhale smoke, I realized how unfamiliar the man who had shared a bed with me for 3 years was. Lin Shu didn't wait for Lu Zhuoyan in the bedroom that night. He said there was still a lot of cat fur in the room, so he had to take Gray back to the old house. Just like when he sent me overseas, there was no longer anything in this house that could disturb the presence of him and Lin Shu. Tears welled up in my eyes, but not a single tear fell. Lu Zhuoyan's mother is my graduate advisor and also my benefactor. It was she who transformed me from a timid village girl into a confident and sophisticated urban woman. I've always known that she was grooming me to be loyal to the Lu family, hoping that I would help her son preserve this vast fortune. I couldn't refuse her, the patient who had played the role of a mother in my life for so long, and I couldn't resist Lu Zhuoyan, who shone like the morning star and became my husband. We went from being polite strangers to gradually developing a mutual affection. The white moonlight that Lu Zhuoyan often mentioned to me seemed like a distant dream at that time. They met by chance 10 years ago, perhaps when they were young and their love was sincere. Lu Zhuoyan had been taught since childhood to take over the Lu family, which almost suffocated him, leading him to run away from home several times in protest. After an accidental fall into the water, he was rescued by a girl from an orphanage. She was a good listener and accepted everything he complained about. Lu Zhuoyan and the girl agreed to meet many times, but after being discovered by the teacher, she was given a new name and adopted by someone else, far away from the city. It wasn't until 10 years later at a business cocktail party that Lu Zhuoyan unexpectedly saved the newly rising actress Lin Shu, who was being harassed by capital. This was when he rediscovered his long-lost white moonlight. Lu Zhuoyan sighed at the fate between them, unaware of how much Lin Shu had done to secure an invitation to that business cocktail party. Even if I had the opportunity to tell him everything I knew face to face, he might still regard it as another attempt to discredit him. Since that day, the once blurry boundary between us became clear again, and even began to crack apart. I watched as Lu Zhuoyan, in the guise of a fan of Lin Shu, sent milk tea to the crew, arranged a private residence for her, and socialized with friends to help her secure a new script. At that moment, the resentment and pain in my heart made it clear to me that I loved Lu Zhuoyan. With the capital of Lu's, It wouldn't be difficult to boost Lin Shu's career, but I didn't want to do that. I had selfish motives. I didn't want other women to interfere with my husband. Now, I am powerless. Let him love whoever he wants. The old house was too quiet. Lu Zhuyen didn't plan to go back today. He lay on the bed and pulled Gray, who had jumped up beside him. Gray didn't like being held, and in its violent struggle, it scratched the back of Lu Zhuyen's hand. After breaking free, it habitually lay down at my side of the bed. The anger in Lu Zhuyen's eyes subsided before it could boil up, even showing more tolerance towards the cat than towards me. Thinking of when Lin Shu's scandal broke out, and he rushed into the office, dragging me up from my chair, I could clearly feel the undisguised hatred in his eyes. He knew I cared about Lu's, yet he used the IPO as a threat to force me out of his world. When Lu Zhuyen learns of my death, will he still be able to bear this guilt and talk about love and affection? I really want to see that day come soon. Just as it was getting light, Lu Zhuyen was awakened by a phone call. Auntie called to say that Lin Shu was about to commit suicide by jumping off a bridge. And Lin Shu's suicide was because the media had received more of her scandals this morning. Unlike the past, these were all explicit photos, suggesting that Lin Shu willingly accepted an unspoken rule, and it surged to the top of the morning hot search. The humiliation in these photos was enough to ruin an actor's career completely. Mr. Lu, please take a look at the comments. They all say that this is a deliberate slander by Mrs. Lu. Everyone is urging Mrs. Lu to kneel and apologize to Miss Lin. What should we do? Mrs. Lu is definitely not that kind of person. The last time there was a trivial scandal, only Lu Zhuyen privately suspected me, but this time, I was pushed to the forefront of public opinion. I clenched my fists, feeling no pain, only deep helplessness. The perfect lover and happy marriage that I had imagined unilaterally turned out to be nothing more than an illusory bubble, one that could easily dissipate into thin air even without Lin Shu's needle-like provocations. After Lu Zhuyen hung up the phone, he looked pale, as if he hadn't rested well. He couldn't reach me by phone, so he finally left a voice message. He still suspected that I was behind this. Lin Shu has already signed a brokerage contract with Lu's and is an artist of the company. Where is your sense of the big picture and the overall situation? I really didn't expect my mother to make such a misjudgment. Eliminate the negative impact you have in this matter within 3 days. Otherwise, for the sake of Lu's, I will also remove you from all positions in the company. For the sake of Lu's. So Lu Zhuyen would say such things too. It sounded like a curse, but it was also like waves crashing, pushing me and Lu Zhuyen further apart in the river of marriage. Lin Shu stood on a bridge outside the city, with a swift river flowing below, the very place where Lu Zhuyen fell into the water and they first met. Many media outlets flocked to the scene, incessantly asking Lin Shu about her relationship with Mrs. Xianxia of the Lu group, and pressuring her to confess whether she had intervened in the marriage of the Lu couple. Wearing a light blue dress, Lin Shu stood on the railing, blending into the azure sky. She made no defense against the revelations and did not respond to the media's inquiries, like an unappreciated doll forced to endure the biting attacks of vicious dogs. She spared no effort to release her vulnerability, which was her most powerful weapon. Lu Zhuyen jumped out of the car and happened to see Lin Shu's miserable smile. Immediately, she leaned backwards and was swallowed by the river in an instant. Such rivers claim the lives of countless swimmers every year. Without a moment's hesitation, Lu Zhuyen threw off his coat and followed suit, leaping into the water. Lin Shu became an innocent actress forced by netizens to prove her innocence through death, while Lu Zhuyen became a righteous capitalist willing to take responsibility. And I, who was not present, became the target of media condemnation, vilified as a malicious character hiding behind the scenes. Words like scheming, ruthless, and hypocritical were now associated with me. I went from being a role model for countless female college students to being scorned and despised. I floated above the river, feeling the cold wind sweep over my body, sending shivers down to the depths of my soul. Perhaps, this was just a play performed by Lu Zhuyen and Shen Yi, to turn me into a woman of ill repute so that their union could be blessed. Wouldn't that be regrettable? But now that I'm dead, I can't come back to face the mud they've thrown at me. The rescue team arrived just in time to save them both from the river before Lu Zhuyen ran out of strength. In the hospital, Lin Shu appeared oblivious to the outside world, her eyes blank. The chief expert and director crowded into the ward, ordering test after test. After everyone left, Lu Zhuoyan sat by the bed, holding Lin Shu's wrist. His thumb rubbed against her pulse, trying to bring her more warmth. After we got married, Lu Zhuoyan had also held my hand and rubbed my abdomen when I had cramps during my period, shivering in pain and unable to sleep. Whenever I woke up from a good sleep, I would see him yawning with dark circles under his eyes. During that time, we kept each other warm in the desolate old house, getting through the most difficult first year after the teacher left. When tears welled up in Lin Shu's eyes, Lu Zhuoyan held her in his arms with one hand. He kissed her forehead, then licked away the tear that hung on her cheek, and finally kissed her lips. It was a kiss filled with bitter tears, tender and affectionate. Perhaps this was heaven's punishment for me, forcing me to let tears fall and shatter in my heart. After soothing Lin Shu to sleep, Lu Zhuoyan left the ward and walked to the end of the corridor. He looked at the missed calls on his phone, and couldn't help but kick the bench and dial the phone number of the head of the overseas branch. Yi isn't at the branch? No matter what it takes, find her. Lin Shu quickly rose to the top of the entertainment industry as a victim of scandal. Her public suicide attempt in Xianxia caused a huge uproar that Lu's public relations team couldn't easily suppress. Even passers-by empathized with Lin Shu being persecuted by the wife of the Lu group's leader, and many joined the online army denouncing me. Lu's products were no longer selling, and many partners, pressured by public opinion, terminated their contracts. Even my longtime aunt, who was unwilling to serve Lin Shu, resigned and returned to her hometown. Lu Zhuoyan was busy at the company during the day, rushing home in the afternoon to cook nutritious meals with video tutorials. At night, he stayed by Lin Shu's bedside, visibly losing weight. I was worried about Gray, left alone in the old house without cat food. I could only hope that the cleaning aunt who came by would take care of it. Lin Shu was well taken care of, her complexion much improved, like a child completely dependent on Lu Zhuoyan. Every time she hurriedly drank the still hot porridge, Lu Zhuoyan's smile deepened. In fact, this wasn't the first time Lu Zhuoyan had cooked. In the second year of our marriage, when facing a crisis of acquisition at the company, I was too busy to eat properly, exhausted from overwork, and fainted in the office one afternoon before being discovered by my assistant. The doctor repeatedly emphasized that I should put down my work and eat properly, but I refused. Compared to Lu Zhuoyan, I knew more about the tricks and tactics of the family company. With my aunt on vacation, Lu Zhuoyan couldn't persuade me, so he would come home every noon, following the doctor's advice to learn to cook nutritious meals for me. Every time Lu Zhuoyan placed the lunchbox on my desk and then sat on the sofa nearby. By the time I finally looked up from the documents, the sun had already set on the horizon, the food had turned cold, and he had long disappeared from the sofa. I chuckled to myself, realizing why Lu Zhuoyan preferred Lin Shu. Outside the ward, a young couple held hands with their mischievous child playing on a swing, their laughter dispelling the gloom in the ward. Lin Shu looked at them with a sense of envy. It's so nice to have a loving husband and lively children. It's what I dream of. What about you, Brother Lu? Why haven't you had children? Lin Shu asked seemingly casually, but she unknowingly touched the deepest scar in my heart. I thought that scar had long healed, but I didn't realize it was still there, festering. In the second year of our marriage, I had been pregnant once, and I secretly aborted it without Lu Zhuoyan's knowledge. At that time, neither the situation at the Lu group nor my physical condition was suitable for nurturing that life. Instead of both of us being torn apart by indecision, it was better for me to make the decision alone. There was no need to let another person endure the pain. But now, Lu Zhuoyan was holding his head, his closed eyelids trembling, his voice almost hoarse. There was, once. It was Shen Yi. She personally killed our child. How did Lu Zhuoyan know about this? A chill swept through my body, and I tightly pressed my lips together, watching Lu Zhuoyan wipe his eyes with the back of his hand before getting up and leaving the ward. He went up to the rooftop, lit a cigarette, and took out a crumpled abortion consent form from the inner pocket of his coat. I had thrown away that form, and my aunt, who worked at home, would never go through the trash and pry into my privacy. That left only Gray, who loved to play with crumpled paper and had been picked up by Lu Zhuoyan. I knew nothing about this. 6 months ago, Lu Zhuoyan proposed to have a child, but I refused, citing the company's impending IPO and my limited energy. A month ago, Lu Zhuyen suggested postponing the IPO process and invited me to an island for our 3rd wedding anniversary. But I still put the Lu group first and refused him. Since then, Lu Zhuyen had changed. He no longer responded to my touch, even avoiding my kisses. He became distant and cold, always finding fault with everything. I just wanted to fulfill my promise to the teacher and then love Lu Zhuyen wholeheartedly. But he brought Lin Shu in front of me, almost showing off, saying that she was the girl he had been looking for 10 years. I understood the meaning behind his words. Lin Shu was the one he truly liked. Through the analysis of enthusiastic fans, it was found that the explicit photos of Lin Shu exposed this time all had traces of Photoshop. While I was firmly labeled as someone who would do anything to achieve my goals, Lin Shu, on the other hand, skyrocketed to the top of the entertainment industry and received several offers to discuss popular role scripts. On the night before her discharge from the hospital, Lin Shu was knitting a scarf, presumably for Lu Zhuyen. Usually, when I helped prepare clothes for Lu Zhuyen, they were mostly in dark colors, but I didn't know he also liked this light, floating blue. Lu Zhuyen was dealing with company documents at the table. Although the two had only reunited half a month ago, the atmosphere between them was more harmonious than that of a couple who had been together for many years. Lin Shu was gentle and understanding, expressing her willingness to attend the press conference with me to clarify misunderstandings. You've been wronged again. Xianxia has gone too far this time. Not suing her is already the utmost in magnanimity on your part. What compensation do you want? Feel free to ask. After a few days of calm, Lu Zhuyen had given up on the idea of having me come back to apologize to Lin Shu. Perhaps only by never coming back to disturb them could he be truly satisfied. Lin Shu had indeed had a difficult time over the years. As she recounted these experiences, it only deepened Lu Zhuyen's misunderstanding of the teacher and made him dislike me, the daughter-in-law personally chosen by the teacher, even more. He felt even more guilty towards Lin Shu and would grant her any request. But Lin Shu just turned her head, looking at the moonlight outside the window, her face sorrowful and gentle. As so many people have messaged me, calling me a third party. You're definitely not. Then, will you marry me? Lu Zhuyen was eager to deny Lin Shu's words. I had no doubt that he would decisively agree in the next moment. But the phone rang, and Lu Zhuyen, trembling, answered it. He didn't even pay attention to Lin Shu's cries, hurriedly leaving the hospital and driving to the nearest pet hospital to the old house. I only knew that the cleaning aunt had taken a few days off. When she went to change the sheets and pillowcases in the master bedroom today, she found Gray lying on the pillow, barely breathing. Lu Zhuyen took it away, but then forgot about it. Without food or water for nearly a week, Gray's short life was about to come to an end. I looked at Gray, barely breathing on the table, wanting to cry out, wanting to call its name, to hold it in my arms, but I couldn't do anything, only mourn in my heart. A doctor, please save it, can you? No matter how much it costs, how expensive the medicine is, I don't care. My wife has raised it since it was a kitten. If she comes home and doesn't see it, she'll go crazy. The dignified and noble Lu Zhuyen, for many years, was now in a small pet hospital, showing signs of panic, seeking help from every doctor. Lu Zhuyen, what are you afraid of? No one will ever feed Gray indiscriminately, causing it to be hospitalized, so you can stay in the guest room for a month. And no one will ever accidentally kick you off the bed at night for fear of crowding Gray. I followed Lu Zhuyen, watching him rush around Jiangqing with Gray for 24 hours, seeking help from every pet hospital. He begged at each one, but didn't realize that Gray's body had gone cold, its eyes closed. Even Gray was gone now. Those I loved and those who loved me in this world were no more. I'm so tired. Please let me leave quickly. After Lu Zhuyen cremated Gray, he returned home in the morning intending to tidy up some of Gray's favorite snacks and toys for burial. But Lin Shu, who had already been discharged from the hospital, returned before he could pick her up. Brother Lu, where did you go last night? Was there an emergency? Did Xianxia come back? I'll explain things to her properly. Lu Zhuyen shook his head, saying that the new hired aunt would start working today, and Lin Shu should rest well. He held the peace collar that I personally engraved for Gray. Perhaps Lu Zhuyen didn't know, but the day he had the child aborted, I picked up Gray from the pet shop on the way. Gray was never just a pet for me. Seeing Lu Zhuyan's eyes turn red, I believed that he didn't intentionally harm Gray. I just couldn't forgive. After burying Gray, Lu Zhuyan went back to work. There were still a bunch of messes in the company waiting for him. You still haven't found it? What's going on? Lu Zhuyan talked to the person in charge of the branch company on the phone, walked to his desk, and saw the folder from the law firm. After hanging up the phone, he opened it and only glanced at the title in the middle before intending to tear up the documents. I stood by Lu Zhuyan's side, feeling his breath stagnate and his fingertips stiffen at that moment. Eventually, he sat down and read through the divorce agreement that I had discussed with the lawyer before returning to the country. Then I remembered, blowing candles and eating cake alone by the beach, repeatedly making many birthday wishes, and the last wish was to divorce Lu Zhuyan. We had no children, and the document only addressed the preliminary division of marital property. After reading it, Lu Zhuyan knew that I hadn't taken advantage of him at all. I even returned the shares I received as a gift at our wedding, out of gratitude for the teacher's support and nurturing. Lu Zhuyan sat in front of his desk for a long time. The assistant brought one urgent document after another, but he ignored them all. When the last ray of autumn sunlight finally shone through the window, the shadow on the floor finally moved. Mr. Lu, the meeting is about to start in 5 minutes, Mr. Lu. Lu Zhuyan left the company with the divorce agreement and drove to the law firm. He thought I was hiding there, preparing all of this. In the lawyer's denial, Lu Zhuyan overturned the table, knocked down the files, and even threatened to bankrupt the law firm, despite his identity not matching his actions. Lu Zhuyan probably never thought that I would divorce him. He had long concluded that I would stay with the Lu family for the rest of my life. Until my proxy lawyer returned in time and saved his law firm. Sorry, Mr. Lu, this agreement was drafted by Miss Shun in a voice message to me before. It's not an official document. It must have been a mistake made by the intern. Besides, we haven't been in contact with Miss Shun for half a month. In the standoff, Lu Zhuyan hung up the phone twice. When it rang for the third time, he finally answered. Then, the lively Lu Zhuyan lost all color. From his fingertips, clenched around the phone, to his tightly pursed lips, and finally to his narrowed eyes, paleness consumed everything about him. The person in charge of the branch company found me. Unfortunately, after thorough investigation and comparison, he finally confirmed that the corpse, salvaged not long ago and unclaimed, was the person they were looking for. Mr. Lu, Miss Shen, she's already dead. When Lu Zhuyan learned that I died saving someone from drowning on a foreign beach, he subconsciously denied it. It's impossible. How could I not know that she could swim? That definitely wasn't Shen Yi. Even though Lu Zhuyan considered himself a competent husband of 3 years, how much did he really know about me? On my birthday, I sat by the beach, blowing out candles time and time again, probably using up all the wishes for this lifetime. The busiest phase of the company was over, and we had so much time ahead to enjoy life. Reconciling with Lu Zhuyan was my first wish. Now it seems ridiculous, wanting to prevent Lu Zhuyan from liking Lin Shu, wanting to have a healthy child with Lu Zhuyan, wanting to travel the world with Lu Zhuyan, wanting to... As the sunset enveloped the beach, I wanted to share the beauty with Lu Zhuyan, to hear him wish me a happy birthday. But while he could stand up for Lin Shu at the press conference, he couldn't spare a few seconds to answer my call. I dialed again and again, almost draining my phone's battery. After the sunset, the starry sky on the beach was also beautiful. I lit the last candle and made a wish to divorce Lu Zhuyan. After sending the message to the lawyer, I heard cries for help from the beach. A child was caught in an offshore current, and the lifeguard hadn't arrived yet. I rushed into the dark sea, using all my strength to push the child to the shore. As I was swept away by the tide into the deep sea, I felt no fear. Just a bit of regret, for making so many wishes and not being able to fulfill a single one in the end. The local government mobilized thousands of people through the news media, trying to find me who disappeared into the sea while saving someone. But a week later, only an unidentifiable body was found. The parents of the child and the local people were grateful and wanted to erect a monument for me by the sea, but they didn't know my name. It wasn't until the person in charge of the branch company found out, through comparing the vague images on the beach and the clothes on the body, that they confirmed it was me. The person in charge had already transported my body back to the country. Major media outlets in Xianxia, as well as outdoor screens, were broadcasting reports from foreign media about the incident and my true identity. Finally, someone realized that it was their Mrs. Liu, Xianxia, whom they had been attacking and cursing for this period of time. On the way to the airport, Lu Zhuyen clutched his chest tightly, his lips unknowingly bitten, a little red becoming the only color on him. He took out his phone, as if still harboring some unrealistic hope, and dialed my number, again and again. The number you dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later. The number you dialed is temporarily. Lu Zhuyen threw his phone, covering his face and crying bitterly. Outside the window, rain began to fall, interspersed with sporadic snowflakes. At this moment, winter came early to Jiangqing. I watched from afar as Lu Zhuyen's appearance deteriorated day by day. His bangs grew long, often poking into his eyes, his beard unkempt, and his shirts and suits wrinkled. At the farewell ceremony, every white chrysanthemum was carefully selected by him, trimmed, and leaves removed. The assistant whispered beside him, reporting the final results of the investigation into the media leaks. They all originated from Lin Shu's creditors, and when she got involved with Lu Zhuyen, who was eager to get rid of these people, she faced backlash. He understood. Lu Zhuyen didn't even lift his head until the assistant left. He mechanically arranged the bouquet, not even noticing when his fingertips were cut by the scissors, staining the white chrysanthemums red. On the day of the funeral, besides company colleagues and friends of the Lu family, many netizens mourned on site. Lu Zhuyen regained his composure, expressing gratitude to each guest as the bereaved, without taking a sip of water all day. His lips were dry, cracked, and oozing blood vessels. His silent demeanor brought tears to countless people's eyes. But on the same day, Lu Zhuyen jumped into the river to save Lin Shu, and the video of them together went viral, and no one believed his performance anymore. In the evening, when the crowd was at its peak, a child managed to evade security and threw eggs at Lu Zhuyen. The sticky egg liquid ran down his shoulders, tarnishing the white chrysanthemum on his chest. My mom says you're a scumbag, you deserve it, you don't deserve sympathy. The scene was in an uproar, but the child left hand in hand with his mother, waiting at the door, before security could intervene. The assistant advised Lu Zhuyen to freshen up and change clothes, but he refused. From calm to almost indifferent, he escorted the last guests out in a disheveled state. The staff of the funeral parlor reminded him 3 times, but Lu Zhuyen did not sign the cremation certificate. Finally, Lin Shu arrived. She walked straight to my portrait to lay flowers, but was stopped by Lu Zhuyen. You should move out. Later. I'll take Xiaoyi home. A big brother Lu, Shen-Yi, is dead. Let's just pretend she's been abroad and hasn't come back, okay? No. Lu Zhuyen backed into the high platform. He turned around and straightened my portrait. Half a month ago, Xiaoyi booked a ticket to come back. She called to ask me to pick her up. Xiaoyi wants to come back to our home. Seeing Lu Zhuyen in a daze, Lin Shu smiled bitterly. If you want Shen-Yi so much, why didn't you reject my closeness? Why use my existence to provoke that woman? I understand now. It's because Shen-Yi doesn't love you, right? So you want a woman who likes and loves you. Lu Zhuyen, I can do that. I can love only you with all my heart. But Lu Zhuyen had no reaction at all. He returned the offerings on the high platform, flowers one by one. With tears in her eyes, Lin Shu was escorted out by security. And Lu Zhuyen couldn't hold on any longer, torn apart by this sharp reality. He didn't even have the strength to stand anymore. He could only tightly embrace my portrait. But the frame was hard, the glass was cold, there was no warmth from me. When the staff came to urge him again, he finally signed the cremation certificate. As Lu Zhuyen put my urn into the front passenger seat and started the car, the scent of gardenias dispersed the smell of incense and burned offerings. Lu Zhuyen drove onto the elevated bridge, but this wasn't the way home. As the window rolled down, raindrops the size of beans pelted his face, mixing with his pain and tears. The speed of the car soared from 80 to over 100, reaching 120, and I faintly sensed Lu Zhuyen's intentions. I absolutely didn't want Lu Zhuyen to meet his end in this way. My emotions seemed to trigger an even stronger storm, but the car's speed continued to rise. When Lu Zhuyan's eyes showed determination, a familiar voice sounded in the car, instantly dispersing his resolve. Mr. Lu, please slow down, please slow down. Mrs. Lu is waiting for you to return home safely. Mr. Lu, please slow down. It was the speeding reminder tone I had recorded for Lu Zhuyan before. Lu Zhuyan made it home safely. He pulled out several bottles of red wine from the liquor cabinet, seemingly wanting to get drunk. But he couldn't find the wine opener. After we got together, every year on the anniversary of the teacher's death, I would get myself drunk and cry alone in the room. The first year, Lu Zhuyan would stay outside the door, occasionally tapping the door with his glass, indicating that he was always there. The second year coincided with my menstrual period, excessive drinking causing severe menstrual cramps. I spent a week in the hospital and lost 10 kilograms. At that time, Lu Zhuyan asked all the friendly wives of the Lu family's business partners and finally found the best aunt in Xianxia for female body conditioning. He even used the warmth of his palm to relieve my abdominal pain while I slept. Since then, the wine opener at home has been hidden by him. After I found it the first time, he moved it to another place. Until now, even Lu Zhuyan has forgotten where he put it. I stood in the middle of the empty living room, watching Lu Zhuyan struggle to bend down, searching every crevice of the house and finding empty medicine bottles in various cabinet corners. Without even drinking, he seemed drunk, needing to support himself against the wall to stand up. Finally, Lu Zhuyan found the wine opener in the cat's nest that was idle in the storeroom, and next to the wine opener was a piggy bank. This was the only thing I brought with me when I moved into the Lu family 3 years ago. Lu Zhuyan thought there were some loose change inside, never having opened it. But he didn't know that there were notes written by me inside, each one related to my past insecurities and sensitivities. Now it seemed that Lu Zhuyan had become interested in my affairs. He opened the piggy bank, unfolded the notes I had written, and as soon as he read the first one, tears streamed down his face, and he silently roared. Getting first place in the university swimming competition, the way Senior Lu smiled when presenting the award was so nice. My classmates said his name is Lu Zhuyan. Volunteering in the community, Senior Lu helped me drive away wild dogs, but it seems like he doesn't remember me. The first time I visited the teacher's house, I upset the teacher because I hadn't done my homework. Senior Lu saw me crying at the back door. It turns out he's the teacher's son. After President Lu passed away, the teacher fell ill. I promised her to marry into the Lu family and do my best, but it seems like Senior Lu likes someone else. The doctor said there was no heartbeat in the embryo, but I could clearly feel the presence of the child. I don't want to lose. Zhuyan must be very sad to know this stuff. Why do I have to take so many medicines and still not meet the conditions for pregnancy? It seems that after the company goes public, I'll have time to regulate my body. Will Zhuyan wait for me? When I found out I was pregnant in the hospital, before I could even be surprised, the doctor told me that the embryo had no heartbeat and had stopped developing. The miscarriage and my long-term menstrual cramps were both due to hormonal imbalances. But at that time, there were serious external crises in the Lu family, and I couldn't follow the doctor's advice to take care of my body. I could only try harder, and even harder. If the Lu family went public earlier, I could have properly regulated my body, and then welcomed the baby back. Why couldn't Lu Zhuyan wait even for this little time? Everything was supposed to get better. Lu Zhuyan wiped away his tears and tremblingly unfolded one note after another, until the last one I wrote before being transferred to the overseas branch. The person Lu Zhuyan likes has appeared, and there is no place for me by his side. Should I still tell him that Xianxia also likes Lu Zhuyan? I never thought Lu Zhuyan would find out about my thoughts in this way. The student years were filled with admiration, and the marriage was a promise of gratitude. Pushed along by the waves for too long, only when I turned around did I realize that we were still sitting on two separate boats. As soon as we got closer, we would be pushed farther away by the waves. When the huge wave subsided, only Lu Zhuyan was left on the quiet sea. I'm sorry, teacher. I can only accompany Lu Zhuyan this far. The burden of the Lu family is weighing me down. I'm so tired, so tired. Only when I walked away did I hear Lu Zhuyan's suppressed sobs turning into unrestrained cries from the cramped storeroom. Now, My funeral can finally be considered complete. I can finally leave. Goodbye, Lu Zhuoyan. May your remaining years be smooth, and may we never meet again in the next life.